back here.
If he's not
Center
buying back here.
Center is not buying
You're
back.
feeling it. You're
This
feeling
is
it.
gonna be
You're feeling it.
megas. This is gonna be megas.
I'm so used to seeing cores have buyout at this phase of the game.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's not Megas thing.
Wow.
It's not Megas thing. The Centaur respawning. The Centaur respawning. And the Slack almost back alive. Slack almost back alive.
This is gonna be megas. I'm so used to seeing buyout now get mega creep. They didn't get mega creep.
Bristle doesn't have buyout. Bristle doesn't have buyout.
With the break, he does with the break, he does
I'm so used to seeing buyout now get mega creep. They didn't get mega creep. Bristle doesn't have buyout. Bristle doesn't have buyout.
He's the one Ricky takes out the Ricky to start this fight off. Slack building up those charges. Flicker on the Snapfire doesn't get him back to safety. He's still going to go down to one more round.
Nice lucky shot.
He took his away. He's still alive for now. The Snapfire. He survives in the end. The Slack could be in some trouble.
He doesn't get over.
Away. He has Shadow Dance. He has Satanic as well.
He doesn't have BKB. He doesn't have BKB. Oh my God! This bounce.
Perfect chain stun again. BCC, the hero of this game, and still he does not have money.
Dude, they just call it BCC's nuts. BCC's nuts.
GG is called BCC, the hero of this game.
Oh my God! I can't believe they lost this game.
BCC Pengo. Respect it.
If you have buyback there, the Bristle doesn't have buyout. They're running down mid. Oh man, that is a rough way to lose. Crystallize. Somebody got real value though. That was like 3-to-1 odds for them. That was sick.
And that's one of those games where if you're his teammates, you're just like, dude, 45 minutes, where's your buyback?
You don't buyout at 45? I just didn't even look because I just naturally assumed, oh, he just bought it out because he has buyout. It's not like he had Aegis. His Aegis had faded in that previous fight.
And Satanic's like a pretty good power spike, but it's enough to have
No,
buyback.
you know what's even better? Buyback is, if you think about it, you double your net worth because you get to fight twice. It's better than any item in the game.
That's some good maths. I like it.
Navi!
Yeah, what you gonna do? One of those games.
They were up 10K. They finally brought it back.
Yeah, that's the brutal thing. This game, it's like they were clawed their way back in, fought so hard, only for it to slip away.
I'm perfectly fine with being proven wrong. I said I don't see a way that Unique can win this, but they did.
BCC showed the way, and we're going to show ourselves back over to the panel as we break down game number 1.
Holy smokes, all to be said there. The early game absolutely dominated by Unique, and then all of a sudden, Navi, you guys were talking about, they do scale a little bit better, and then they still lose, and I don't know. Where do you guys want to start with this one? Because it was all over the place.
I just want to say that Violet said going into the series it was going to be spicier.
Spicy pepper, baby.
I thought that was more than one spicy pepper. If it was only one, that was a ghost pepper. That was a jalapeno. That was like 2 or 3 for sure. That was a really good game. I was on the edge of my seat, honestly, watching that. I love games like that where you think one team's going to win. You're like, I don't see how Navi ever wins this game. And then 10 minutes later, I don't see how Unique ever wins this game. And then they win the game. So
I love how the highlights started with Bristleback item dropping them in their base. That was like 30 minutes ago too. I forgot about that. I was like, that was sick. And then like 20 minutes later, like, oh, we're gonna lose. Whoopsie doodle. But they bring it back, and God said BZZ with a beastly performance on that Pango. Everyone just seemed to play well in that last fight, especially for Unique though.
yeah, both teams had a lot of playmaking potential, and there's this natural timing where Bristleback just can't die. Then you get this Silver Edge after the Diffusal BKB on the Slark, and then he can die, and then you get these Abyssal Blades, and Slark can't hit anybody, so then he doesn't die, and then there's just a lot of back and forth, and I love watching it.
It was a very fun game. I think if I was to bet 3 different times on that game, I would have lost all 3 bets just because it was like at different times. Yeah, I was like, oh no, yeah, like Unique definitely have this, and then Navi for sure.
You can't lose all 3 because one of the teams
That is true.
won.
I think 19 is a beast, man. I really like watching this kid. He has that like youthful not arrogance, but like confidence.
Swagger.
You know, he's got a bit of swagger to his play. He, the item dropping was nice, but like even just the way he played the mid lane, he played it so confidently on that bristleback. There was that one of like the very first like quote unquote mistakes that he made was baiting like too hard in the mid lane, but I appreciate like the intent of it. You know, I'd prefer you to bait almost like too hard than under deliver in that regard. Be too scared as a bristleback. So I think this kid's a beast, and yeah, BZZ showed up for sure. Just wish he gave away a few less rolling thunders, but it is what
You
it is.
hit W, right?
Yeah, sometimes they can still steal it, but.
Yeah, just these team fights were so hectic. You had Tricks of the Trade one side, you had the Flicker on the other side. I mean, BZZ was stuck on that cliff a few times up there as well. Just a ton of random AoE abilities, and in games like this, when it's like 45, 50 minutes, you're just like, I'm hoping I'm stunning people at this point.
Yeah. Sioma tuned up really big on that Rubik. I'm sure he's really disappointed that they lost that game because they almost had it back. There was a little bit back and forth. Like each of the cores, I felt like on Navi had times where they really shone and they did a great job, and then other times they just overestimated maybe the damage of Unique or the burst. There was a couple of disappointing deaths crystallized for you, VSJ.
Yeah, I think she needs to stop hitting Bristle in the middle of this fight right here. You just need to walk at the supports. And Bristle's really not that potent if the Snapfire in the back and the Bound Rider in the back are just not doing what they need to do. And
Snapfire solo.
it's like a weird decision on Slark. Obviously, I've played a ton of Slark. You see this Bristle and you're like, oh yeah, Essence Ship stacks. Give me more. But then you just like, by the time you've killed the Bristleback, your entire team's dead. And you're like, and Bristle's really not that, it doesn't matter that the Snapfire in the back and the Bound Rider in the back are just not doing what they need to do. And he is the only It's like a weird decision on Slark. Obviously, you have to find the right balance, and I think you did focus the Bristleback just a bit too much. You want to find, there's sometimes you're supposed to focus him and sometimes you're not. And that last fight right there, I think was a perfect example where he can pretty much remove 3 heroes from the fight if he just walks at them. And you may not get as much essence shift, but
I think what's really cool about Dota is that there's all these variables, and that there is a decision-making tree, and there isn't always the best play.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are better plays, and I think what is kind of cool is that last team fight came down to a decision that is a team decision that we were actually talking about. The Aghanim Scepter that was dropped from Roshan. Who do you give it to? Do you give it to the Centaur, or do you give it to the Slark? Well, at the very end, Crystallize gets caught in that pocket where he gets chained Rolling Thunder because his pounce doesn't go far enough for him to be able to escape. The disengage of an Aghanim Scepter on him may have actually changed the fate of this game. But Centaur Axe was still really powerful.
yeah, we were deliberating whether or not which one was better. I personally lean towards Slark, maybe because I'm biased, but
And I lean towards Centaur.
Yeah, but I just thought that the fights weren't going to end in like the first few seconds, especially after Slark got the Satanic, which for me was my reasoning. I'm not saying I was even right. The game could have easily just been the exact same. But I think Slark would have had a much more impactful ability to kill the supports and knock them down if he had the reach of the axe. You get the first pounce, they force that away, you pounce him again. But either way, a lot of little things, and that's the beauty of it. That you said, like, you don't even know. It's really hard to tell. You're like, maybe that could have changed things. And there
was
like
one
10
where
things
like the
that.
Centaur Axe got them a kill because there was the
Yeah,
play
he was
the
on the high ground.
Slark was able to just kind of casually run up there and hit him. It's just it's a toss-up, and I think that's what's really fun about Dota, and you really see that when you get these longer games that are really back.
That's why you can play 30,000 games of Dota and never see duplicate.
Yep.
Well, that was the end of game number 1, and it was a good one yesterday. We had some stomps, but Unique and Navi just duking it out together. Game number 2 right around the corner, so stick around.
Wow! Maligo ka na ulit. Wow!
these up.
Not buying back here. If he's not buying back here, Center's not buying back. You're feeling it.
This is gonna be megas. This is gonna be megas. I'm so used to seeing cores have buyout at this phase of the game. At this phase of the game.
Yeah.
Indeed, rocking out in the early morning or the late night, whichever one it is for you, whether you're watching from SCA, from China, from North America.
Thank
we're
you,
glad
Kuya
to have
Linoren.
you here.
Wala po
And
si
you
Kuya
joined at
dapat
perfect
matawa
time
yung
because
mga
possibly the best
stands.
series we've already had in EU and CIS, you know, not one-sided. Looked like it could have been maybe unique. We had an item drop at about 25 minutes in the base. We're like, uh-oh. But then Navi said, no, we're bringing it back. Then Unique's like, no, we're bringing it back. And then Unique ends up winning it after all. What a game one, but already game two. The draft is underway. I'm lucky enough to be joined by BSJ as well as Cap. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still just thinking about that last game, you know, everything going on at once. And, you know, you come out on top, and in a game as hectic as that, is it, to BSJ, is it hard to decompress from a game like that if you have to get right into the next game?
Yeah, definitely. This is the type of games where that 10-minute break may just not cut it.
If you are Navi, you need to, like, your leadership needs to be able to come in and keep people from dwelling on the mistakes of the past and look forward. Very similar to, like, again, I always go back to that moment where Seb's like, guys, like, we just lost that game, like, but we had them, like, they're the ones who are mentally broken at this point. Like, that's such a good mentality to have in a losing team. So your leadership needs to step up, and if you're Unique, you gotta chill out and calm down a little bit more, because, you know, you almost threw away that game, right? And so you need to just settle down a little bit, play some good Dota, close it out 25-30 like you were projected to do last game.
I like this draft already because you see Navi bans the Husker, which pretty much says you know they're going to ban the TA, right? So it's kind of like just two bans. I don't want to say are thrown away.
Your leadership
if you
needs to
ban the
step up.
Husker,
If
they're
you're
going to ban the
Unique,
TA.
you gotta
so it's like, well,
chill out and calm down a little bit more,
going to
because,
happen.
you know, you almost threw away that game.
We still have the
right?
Coddle as a big five. We have the Wyvern is not seeing like any play
It never
in
did.
Europe
It
CIS.
wasn't like picked and lost anything like that. It never started losing like the Phoenix, and it just stopped getting picked. I think these two teams had about the most even draft last game that I've seen, and that's really exciting for me. It usually implies both teams are drafting really well, and both teams had a lot of merit to every pick that they thought through, like whether or not the pick was really good for their squad, whether or not it was really good against the opponent heroes. I thought last game was kind of built up to be an exciting game from the draft, but obviously it looked like a bit of a stomp 25 minutes into the game. But that was kind of expected, right? The early laning stage advantage going the way of Team Unique. So will Navi look to maybe not be at such a big deficit going at the 25-minute mark?
Grant, you seem puzzled.
Yeah,
what happened?
Sioma was the drafter last game. This game it's Ilias.
Oh.
Straight up. I don't know if how big of a deal that makes, but it was Slayer was the crown the entire time. It wasn't like he just changed. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it actually means anything, but it was just interesting to me.
Pizza party for the drafter.
Sorry, Slayer.
Mid-series. Get out of here.
So I mean, I can't imagine why they wouldn't pick Ember here. Good against Centaur. It's not the best for Shadow Demon.
I mean, it's Ilias.
Oh.
Straight up. I don't know if how big of a deal that makes, but it was Slayer was the crown the entire time. It wasn't like he just changed. Yeah.
On paper,
I don't know. They
makes
just
sense to me.
I don't know. I don't know if it actually means anything, but it was just interesting to me.
Pizza party for the drafter.
Yep. Sorry,
really
Slayer.
no way of renting the Bristleback early through a
Get out of here.
So I mean, I can't imagine why they wouldn't pick Team Unique
here.
Getting a Centaur. It's not the best for Shadow Demon, but it's pretty good for Centaur, and it goes well with Coddle.
Which I thought was overall.
I don't think
really
Ember was
good
particularly the issue. It did struggle mid versus the
to
Bristleback.
stand front
On
and
paper,
set
it
up
didn't
their fight
make sense
for
to
them.
me that
And
Bristleback.
sometimes you need that setup hero to be an initiator, and sometimes you need him to be a dangler. You know, you just need them to.
No, the
little
danglers.
Yeah, little bait. You're talking about
So Navi, I think they were
You leave it to me.
outside,
I'll get your taxes in an okay place.
What?
Well, just as soon as my...
And that's total. We started this round with 0.
I just want to use this round as an example for everybody at home. Think about the way that Olaf died. He was worrying about the sewer pipe and connector. Think about the way that Cold Zero died. He was worried about monster tunnel and sewer. They're dying from multiple positions. They're not able to just have their crosshair trained on one spot. Fnatic are doing a great job of stringing them out and then finding the gaps.
You leave it to me. I'll get your taxes in an okay place. Well, just as soon...
Two picked up so far from that phase plan, one for Nico, one for Cold Zero. The other side of things, we've got Rain, who over on Mirage, he was looking great in terms of opening jewels. He was sitting at 6-1 after the CT pistol had come on through. Currently sitting 0-4. So right now, FaZe are in a rough spot. They've lost the half. Their money's in the bin. They have max loss bonus. I think that what they need to do is really just change up the game plan and start doing